Imagine your bank account not only growing but multiplying while you're asleep. Do you think that's even possible? Well, guess what? It is. Today we're diving into how leaders just like you can strategically build and manage wealth to make a lasting impact. Welcome to my channel. I'm Myles Threatt, and I empower leaders just like you to build a lasting legacy no matter where you're at in your leadership journey. And if you're new here, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. As we dive into this topic of strategically building and managing wealth, we're going to look at understanding your financial landscape, how to strategically manage debt, make smart investments, and plan for long-term wealth. According to a recent survey, 75% of leaders report that personal financial stress affects their performance at work. So are you dealing with some financial stress today? It's a tough market out there. Inflation's killing most of us. You got a big dream. You want to launch that nonprofit. You want to kickstart your entrepreneurial journey. You're going to have to understand your financial landscape. I know we're all facing some unique financial challenges at times. I've had to deal with them in my past, whether rebounding from a divorce, trying to rebuild my life, rebuild my finances, to also trying to launch my own entrepreneurial dream at the same time while trying to maintain a 9-to-5. I've done the side gigs to get out of debt. I understand the challenges of managing money, and that's not my thing. It is something I have to work hard at. I have to be disciplined at. It's not something I enjoy, but I've had to create some habits for myself. And if you're in that same boat, we'll walk through some of those steps today. When you start looking at your financial landscape, the first thing I want to talk about is how you manage that cash flow. You know, if you're working a consistent 9-to-5 and you have a consistent paycheck coming in every 2 weeks or every month or however you're paid, you still got to manage that cash flow. If you're that entrepreneur and you started in your entrepreneurial journey, and if you're having inconsistent income coming in, you even more so have to manage that cash flow. You may have high months, you may have low months, you may have seasons of no money coming in. What are you going to do? That's when having an emergency fund that you have established beforehand, whether you're working your 9-to-5 right now, you should be building that emergency fund up. You should be building that emergency fund up where you have 6 to 9 months, maybe even possibly a year's worth of expenses that you could dive into if you need to pay your expenses so you can survive. If you're that entrepreneur and you've already gotten started, if you've got that emergency fund set up, then you're going to have to draw from those low months or no money months, whatever you're dealing with right now. Hopefully you've planned ahead before you even launch out on that journey of either starting your own nonprofit or starting your entrepreneurial dream. You need to have that emergency fund. And that is a risk reward type of thing you need to think about for yourself. If you're a high-risk individual and you think you can do this and get started with 3 to 6 months of emergency fund money set up, then you go for it, but just be aware. Plan for the unexpected as much as possible. If you're not that high-risk person, then that emergency fund, you're going to need to have probably 9 months to a year's worth of money set aside to cover all your basic expenses. Even if that means you get down to eating beans and rice. Go back to the college days and you're eating ramen noodles. I know if you have a family, they may not like it, but you got to think about that as well. What can your spouse, what can your family handle if you are not having that consistent cash flow? That means if you're that parent out there right now and you got kids that are playing travel sports and you want to kickstart your entrepreneurial dream, then you better plan. And maybe little Johnny has to give up travel sports this year. I promise you. He might hate your ass for a little bit, but it ain't going to kill him. Very few of your kids are actually going to make it to the professional level from doing that anyway. And I've done that as well. Yes, I've done tons and tons of my money into my children playing travel sports and then trying to manage cash flow. Even going through a divorce and still trying to manage my cash flow, trying to get out of debt at the same time. I know it's hard, but you got to work at it. And you got to create that plan. You got to work that plan. You got to be consistent with it. And as you're more consistent with that plan, you will be able to manage your money. You will be able to build that emergency fund. You'll be able to get out of debt if you need to. Second thing you need to be aware of is your taxes and scaling your business. I would encourage everybody listening to me today that you should set up some kind of small business and have your own LLC. I don't care if you are working a corporate job. You should have something like that, because I promise you, Uncle Sam is eating your lunch and he's giving the shit away to other people. As you increase your income, your tax burden is going to increase. And you've got to find a way to reduce that tax burden you're having to live with. I don't mind paying taxes, but I want to pay as little as possible because I never see that shit coming back to me. It would be great if you found a personal accountant, a tax advisor, someone to help you in this area. Because as you grow your business or as you grow your income, you're going to need some help. And the best thing I did for myself as I started my entrepreneurial journey is hire a tax advisor, pay someone to do my taxes. No, I don't use any of the online services that are for free. No, I do not. I don't like that. I did that for a while. There again, I outsourced that thing. I would rather pay somebody to help me save more of my money. And it has paid off for me, because then I can know the money that I'm making on my entrepreneurial journey, how much of it do I need to invest back in the company to take it as a tax write-off instead of giving it back to Uncle Sam. Same thing goes for you if you are climbing that corporate ladder. You get that next raise, you get that next promotion, and you're bringing in extra money. Don't go blow that money on stupid shit. That's right. How can you invest it? Maybe you need to go out and buy another piece of property and create income from that. Maybe you need to go ahead and take that extra bonus money you're going to get and create a business or invest in a business from it. Use that to scale your income. If you've already started your entrepreneurial journey and you're making some money off of it after you pay your bills and you look at your taxes, how can you invest back in that business to continue to grow it? And that's where that tax advisor comes into play. Find someone you can trust, someone that's willing to think inside and outside the box with you so that you can build that wealth you want to build. The last thing you should do is increase your lifestyle. Get content where you're at. Now, you made that extra money and you can use that new vehicle you want to buy as a write-off towards your business or as a tax advantage for yourself. Go do it. But don't let that promotion that you get or that extra money you're about to make and waste it on something that's just going to increase your expenses. It's one thing if you plan for it and you strategically build the money up that you're wanting to invest into your lifestyle, but invest it in a way that you get a return from it. Don't just go blow it on stupid stuff. As Americans, we continue to do that, and we continue to accumulate more and more, and there's better things you could reinvest that money into your business, into your future, instead of just going out and getting a bigger home that you got to spend more money taking care of or wasting it on a fancy new vehicle that you don't really need right now. And as you think about those extra funds, and instead of letting that lifestyle creep happen to you, what can you do with those extra funds to better prepare for your retirement years? Instead of spending it on upgrades to your home or spending it on a new car, why don't you take that money and put it in an IRA somewhere? Why don't you take that same money, if you got enough to put down on a second piece of property somewhere that you could turn into rental income for yourself or an Airbnb, and that become part of your retirement plan for the future? Or maybe you finally go have enough from that promotion or that bonus that you're getting and you go dump it into an S&P 500 account. Why don't you do that instead? I know your goals are important to you. I know that you desire to excel in your business, but don't let those goals sidetrack you from planning for your future. Don't put that retirement planning on hold. I had to deal with this a lot as a nonprofit leader, and I had stages in my nonprofit work where I was doing really well and I had plenty of money to plan for my retirement. And I went through stages where that wasn't a priority. And at 53 years of age right now, I should have made it a priority no matter where I was at financially. I should have been making sure I was being consistent about that. And my challenge to you is, as you're either trying to launch or grow your business or your nonprofit, don't forget about planning for your retirement and for your later years, because you're going to need that money later on down the road. And do I believe in retiring and just sitting on a beach somewhere and playing golf all the time? That would be wonderful, but I'd get bored. Do I want to be able to enjoy my life later on? And I also want to add value back in some way? Yes, I do. But do I want to do it full time, continuing working hard up until I'm 67, 68 years old? Because that's what they want you to do. They want you to work hard till you're 67, 68 years, then you die in two after you're done. Yeah, I've seen that happen to too many people at the same time. Now, when you start thinking about planning for that retirement for the future, why don't you plan to retire early instead of waiting till you're almost got a foot in the grave to enjoy travel and adventures and things of that nature. Do it now. Plan for that retirement. So after you get a better understanding of your financial landscape, it's time to strategically manage some debt. Right now, the average American household has over $7,000 in credit card debt. Stupid, dumb credit card debt. And that's all I'm going to talk about right now. You got a mortgage, as long as you're paying it and meet that payment, hey, that's great. You can work paying some of it off later on. You got student loan debt, create a plan for that as well. It'll apply to this, what we're about to cover. But get rid of that stupid debt. If you're wanting to kickstart your entrepreneurial journey, or launch that nonprofit dream, or maybe even if you're climbing that corporate ladder, get rid of the stupid debt so you don't have to live with that stress. Remove that stress from your life and make your money start working for you instead of you working for your money. Change the narrative for yourself. Studies show that those leaders who focus on paying off that high interest debt save 30% more in repayment over time. When it comes to paying debt off, there are several methods that you can use. You can use the avalanche method or the snowball method. The avalanche method, you take on the highest interest debt first and you use every bit of your extra money to pay that off, and you pay minimums on the rest. That's where you're going to save that 30% in interest payment, by taking care of that high interest debt first. The other philosophy is a snowball method, where you pay off your lowest debt amount first. So you got 3 credit cards and you got $3,000 on one, $5,000 on another, and $10,000 on a third one. The snowball method, you take up and pay off that $3,000 first. Same thing, you take that all your extra money to pay off that debt, all of it. You even get a side job or a side gig if you need to help pay it off faster, and that creates the momentum. Whichever method you use, whatever philosophy you follow, as you pay off one debt, you take that same amount of money that you've been using to pay off the first debt, you roll it over into the second debt plus the minimal payment you were making on it, and that creates the effect you're looking for to get yourself out of debt. I've done the snowball method for myself before in the past, and by doing that, I created the momentum, and seeing the momentum helped me stay the course and finish paying off the debt. You need to decide for yourself which method is right for you, and whichever one you do, just create a plan and be consistent with it. Having a plan and being consistent with it is what's going to help you take care of that debt. You can also do a balance transfer. Let's just say you decide to do the snowball method and you're going to hit your smallest debt first, but you got a large $10,000 debt on a credit card that's charging you 22% interest, and you consolidate that into a new credit card for 0% interest for 15 months or 18 months or whatever they're offering. You can make both of these work for yourself at the same time. Yeah, you're still paying the minimal payment, but you're not being charged that extra interest. You're saving yourself money. You're building the momentum. Maybe in 15 months you don't get to that largest amount yet, but you'll find out as you build the momentum, you will find creative ways to get there faster, because you're seeing the progress, because you're tracking it, you're monitoring it, and you have a plan in place. You can also try one of those debt consolidation loans. I've never done one of those. I've looked into them in the past. Yes, I did. I looked into them. And maybe if you're faced with a real hardship right now and you can't make payments on your debt, maybe that is the option for yourself. Yes, it's going to impact your credit score and all that kind of good stuff, because they ask you to show proof you can't make the payments. And sometimes they'll just tell you, don't pay them for 3 months. It's going to impact your credit score. Then you'll have the proof. And then maybe you can get the loan. And it's going to save you money over the long term. And you're willing to live with that. And you don't like any of those options? Maybe you can take out a personal loan at a lower interest, pay off all the credit cards, and then work off paying the personal loan. The reality is you've consolidated it into one, and now you just create a plan to pay it off. And you're paying extra towards it. Whether that means you got a side gig or you're working on something, you're doing whatever you can to create extra income to pay that debt off. Get rid of that debt, create that freedom for yourself. So now that you understand your financial landscape, you've got a strategic plan to manage your debt. How can you start investing? Now we're going to look at smart investing. Before you get to smart investing though, build up that emergency fund. Build it up to where you are comfortable with where you're at with it. 3 to 9 months, full year, whatever works for you, based on how much risk you're willing to take or live with, but have that emergency fund established. where you can take care of your basic payments for anywhere between 3 months to 1 year, wherever you're willing to live at, then you start smart investing. So when it comes to investing, you need to adopt a strategy that lines up with your risk tolerance. And for you to determine that, you got to ask yourself some questions. When you look at this investment, do you see an opportunity for a great return? Do you imagine the thrill of investing? Do you worry that you're going to be left with nothing? Do you believe risk is just an essential part of the process of investing? Your answers to these questions will help you determine your risk tolerance. As you determine your risk tolerance, then you got to look at your time frame that you're dealing with. How many years is it before you want to maybe retire? And along with the time factor, what are some of your financial goals along the way? How much money at the end do you want to be worth? How much wealth do you actually want to build? If you have the answers to those questions, you're going to be able to determine your investment strategy for yourself. And then go find a financial advisor that you trust to get advice from them about how do you become a smart investor. Maybe mimic and follow some of those people who've been done really well at it and borrow and steal some of their ideas to build the wealth that you want to build. So you want to be able to maintain that peace of mind. You've got to understand how much financial volatility you can live with, so you can maintain that peace as you're building that wealth. And you determine for yourself how you want to invest your money, then you need to be willing to regularly review and rebalance your investments, making sure those investments line up with your risk tolerance and your end goal. Are they on the right track for you at this point in time? Remembering this is a long-term game that you're playing. And how can you mitigate risk? By taking advantages of opportunity in the market at this point in time. This is where having that financial advisor is going to help you. As you plan your investing, spread it across different asset classes. Whether you're investing in stocks, bonds, maybe real estate, maybe you're into crypto, but spread it out. Diversify it for yourself. And your risk tolerances will tell you how much you need to invest in each one of those categories for yourself. For me, this is a game that is learned and one where I look to experts at, because I do not classify myself as an expert in this field. I'm a learner, but the earlier you start this, the better off you are. Maybe if you haven't, then you got to double down on it. But determine that risk level for yourself and then diversify in a way that matches up with your risk tolerance, and get that financial advisor that will help you. And then begin to study this and learn from others so that you can manage your investing for your future. Now that we've covered smart investing, let's look at long-term wealth building strategies. I'm going to talk about two things, basically real estate and retirement funds. Two things I know, two things I'm doing. The average annual return on real estate over 20 years is 10.6%. No, a lot of Americans think that home that they buy, that is part of their long-term wealth building, because you've been paying that mortgage payment over years and years. You've been trying to build that wealth through that. You've upgraded your home. You're getting closer to retirement age. You want to downsize. And you're going to sell that property to make money off of it. And if you've been in that home for 20 years, hopefully you're going to get that, at least that 10%, depending on the market, maybe even more. But traditionally, real estate is considered a safe investment. We talked earlier about making that excess money, whether it's through your business or whether it's through your 9-to-5 that you're working right now. And that extra money that you're making, that promotion you can get or that bonus you get, why not roll it back over into real estate? Hey, invest into that mountain cabin, turn it into an Airbnb, block off your time and go there. Invest in that condo at the beach that you've always wanted, turn it into an Airbnb again, create income from it. Enjoy it when you're down there, block off your time so you can go enjoy it, but make an investment. Maybe you can just buy a couple of homes in your area, different markets. Maybe you don't even buy it in your area, maybe you buy it in another city somewhere else, but you invest in that real estate to build that wealth for that long-term planning for yourself. Nowadays, you can invest in apartment complexes as part of your portfolio. That becomes part of your wealth building for yourself. That real estate investment that you becomes a tax benefit, becomes a tax write-off, upgrades, things that nature you're doing there, that becomes a tax write-off. I've been doing this for myself. I have an Airbnb. Reality is that Airbnb makes me enough money, it even pays my mortgage. So not only am I making money from it, I'm paying off my house because of it. And I made that investment. Finally, there's that retirement fund. You're working your 9-to-5, your company has a 401k plan for you. You should be making the maximum match amount that they're willing to match. And any extra money you make, Why not roll it into an IRA? That bonus you get, why don't take a portion of that bonus and roll it into an IRA to build that wealth for yourself? Maybe real estate ain't your thing. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have to hassle with tenants and finding tenants and working on it and making repairs. And that's not for you. Well, then, as you get those promotions and bonuses, you could also dump some money into an S&P 500 account. Do something that will help you build that long-term wealth. If you're one of those lucky people in your organization that you're working for right now and you're climbing that corporate ladder and they have a pension plan or annuities that you can invest in, that is part of that wealth building for yourself as well. Make those investments, but still look at opportunities when you get that extra money, when you climb that corporate ladder, you get that bonus, that you're investing in other ways. You're not putting all your eggs in one basket with that company. Did you hear me with that? You're not putting your eggs all in one basket with your job, even if they have a good pension plan. Invest as much as you can in that, but plan for your future somewhere else as well, so you have something somewhere so they don't screw you over. For those of you that want to retire early and enjoy life more and travel more, and maybe you still might work a little bit or something like that, but you don't want to wait till you're 65, 67, hey, maybe you don't even wait till you're 60. There's a concept called the FIRE method. It's called Financial Independence and Retire Early. This is basically an aggressive savings and investment tactic that you can use. For this to work, it starts with you saving up to 50 to 70% of your income. I know you're sitting there thinking, what the hell, how am I going to do that with the way inflation is and prices are right now? But if you're a dual income family, you can live off one income and save the other. Yes, it might mean you're a minimalist and you have to be very frugal depending on your income and money that you have. And if you want to go in on all this, then you do what you need to do. You make the choices. Are you living to impress your friends and neighbors, or are you living to build a life that you want to have for yourself because your goals and dreams are just a little bit different? And those savings that you make, you turn around and you aggressively invest those savings. So you're saving 50 to 70% of your income, then you aggressively invest that money. You're investing that money for those aggressive stock options with high yield returns. Yes, you better love risk if you're doing this, and you better pay attention to the market if you're doing this. The goal is for you to build a large enough investment portfolio that you can generate enough passive income to cover living expenses. And if you want to use this method, you don't necessarily have to stay in America and live in America. You can make this happen for yourself if you choose to move and live somewhere else in the world. Off of U.S. money in an economy and a marketplace that is open to you as an American citizen living there and having the money and getting you a visa and living a good life at a much cheaper rate. That's where this methodology can work for you the most. Those people who use this methodology have built up enough funds that they can strategically remove up to 4% annually out of their accounts. That covers their lifestyle and expenses. And they built the portfolio to work that way for them. If you build the portfolio correctly and you're pulling out that 4%, man, there are so many places in the world that you could live much more comfortably and enjoy life at a higher level than living here in the U.S. That not only gives you the flexibility, but gives you lots of freedom. If you want to still work, you could probably work. You can find some remote work that you could do. And you could probably save up enough money that you could travel back and forth from here to whatever country you're in. For me, that's going to be Thailand. Yes, I've already made the plans, already got the house built. Yeah, I got a Thai wife, but that is our plan. And that is what we're going to do. Even with this FIRE method, it's not all about you quitting your job. It's about you creating freedom. And really and truly, that's what this whole episode has been about. You understand your financial landscape. You strategically take care of your debt. You start making smart investments, and then you build that long-term wealth. As you do that, you create freedom for yourself. And once you have that freedom, whether you're kickstarting your entrepreneurial journey, or you're launching your nonprofit dream, or maybe even climbing that corporate ladder, you get those dreams to where you want them to be and maintain that freedom. And then you choose how much time you invest in doing those things for yourself. And that freedom allows you to live your life according to your standards, according to your time. It gives you the chance to build that legacy that you want to build with your family, with those you love, those you care about. So apply those principles for yourself to build that lasting legacy so you can have the freedom that you deserve. I hope you found this episode of value to you. And if you look down in the description below, I've got a free infographic on the FIRE method if you want to retire early and create freedom for yourself. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on other episodes. Thank you for watching, and remember, your legacy starts with the choices you make today. And make the choice to create your personal freedom.